Okay, I'm back finally. It's been a while, and this working harder isn't working, is what I'm talking about today. And maybe you have been feeling this pressure that maybe if I work harder, maybe if I put in more hours, maybe if I sacrifice more, things will start to work. And maybe you've been doing that for a really long time. Maybe you're a Generation Xer and you have an extremely good work ethic, or you're a baby boomer and you've been working hard your whole life and that is your norm. Has it changed anything for you? Has it gotten you the results that you have been desiring, that you have been intending for? Or has it just gotten you business burnout? So I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs here, the business owners, the consultants who are working harder, but it isn't creating the results that you want, or it's creating some of the results that you want, but you actually have to you think that you keep having to do more and more and more and be in control or responsible or overwhelmed more in order to get what you want. And there's so much pressure. Do you feel like you have a lot of pressure on you and that pressure is causing you to eat more or drink more or even like wake up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. for consistently Monday to Friday, way before you intend to get up? These are the things that entrepreneurs are feeling right now. And I can relate to you. I've had a recent experience of a setback because I was pushing, forcing, proving that I know what I'm doing and my business is growing the way I want it to myself, trying to prove it to myself by working harder. And it did not work out. It hasn't worked out. And it affects our thinking when we have all this hidden pressure, because you think that you should have it figured out by now because maybe you've been running your business for a few years or 10 years or 20 years. And the thing with business is that you're always navigating the economy and customers and clients. And it affects how you think, pressure, money pressure, financial pressure, customer service pressure, complaints, dealing with employees. That affects your thinking, being under that constant pressure that you have to fix everything. And so you're trying to fix your business to work for how you want it by working harder and harder and harder and harder. And there comes a breaking point. There comes a breaking point. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to tell you my breaking point. And maybe you can reflect back onto a breaking point that you might be feeling is coming, or you have recently gone through as well, and you're still moving through it. So why it matters that working harder isn't working, because it's not getting you what you want, and it affects your thinking. So if your thinking is muddled up with hustling and like scattered energy, it doesn't create clarity. Your nervous system, your body is under so much pressure. And that's why we get cravings. That's why we, have to lay on the couch and binge watch Netflix or something. Like, there's so much pressure that the body like almost collapses at the end of the day, and you can't do anything. You don't want to cook a good dinner, so you get pizza and that kind of stuff. So pressure is really affecting our thinking, our eating, our habits, our nervous system. And then it clouds our decisions, right? And maybe we get behind on a very important part of our business, like our financial side of our business, our numbers, and we let it go. We let it slide, and it gets messy, it gets incomplete, and becomes overwhelming. And you avoid it. You avoid it. I know all of this too. I've experienced it as well. And even though I'm a chartered professional accountant, I have experienced that as well for my own business. And I watched for over 20 years helping entrepreneurs with their financials and year ends and their bookkeeping. and taxes, be really overwhelmed when it came to getting us the information so that we could do the work, and very incomplete and very messy and confused and not in touch with their numbers, and really wanting to dump it all on us to figure it out because they can't figure it out. They don't want to figure it out. It's like abdicating their responsibility. And that really isn't what a leader is. Like, that's somebody who's really pressured. That's somebody who, it's like you're running from behind to keep up. You can't catch the pack. You're running from behind all the time. And that affects your confidence too, because you start doubting yourself. Doubts come in, fears come in, worries come in, and that affects your confidence to be current with yourself, to be facing reality. And it causes us to react. It causes us to be grumpy and snappy and sharp and overworking. And then we overcompensate by putting in more effort even. It's like, oh, I have to work even harder to get this organized. Oh, I have to do this now. And it's kind of like you have these months and days and weeks and time to get it done. And then all of a sudden that time's gone and you didn't get it done because something else is always calling your name and prioritized for you. So when you're constantly under pressure, it becomes difficult to really hear your own guidance, your intuition, or your wisdom, like what you know about your business, because you're an entrepreneur. You started a business because you have a product or service that is really valuable and you know it inside out. But as it grows and scales, or as you're dealing with outer situations like the economy or changes in technology and changes in customer desires or wants, you're having to pivot on a dime, and it can get in your way. Like, it can slow you down. It can cause you to think, oh, I have to change, so I have to work harder. And when you're constantly under pressure, you can't get clarity. I'm going to repeat that, because pressure does not lead to clarity. And this isn't just a business problem. This is your leadership problem. Like, if you're the CEO, you're the founder of your business, you're the entrepreneur, you're the owner, or maybe you're the primary manager. And if you're overwhelmed, over responsible for things, under delegating, you're spreading yourself so thin that you really have no space to be current, to be present in your body and in your business. And when you're an entrepreneur, your business is your life. Your life is your business. It's just one of those things about entrepreneurs that is true. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I was hustling, I was pushing, I was performing, I was forcing, I was working long hours. And we're also in the middle of a renovation, so that's added pressure. And spring was coming, and we have multiple fruit trees, and I wanted to get them pruned before the flowers started to bud and the branches got even heavier. And I want these trees to be even more beautiful, and they needed pruning. And so I decided, I'm going to prune them myself. And guess what? There's like 8 trees. There's 8 trees. This isn't an easy task, and it's a 2-day job. So on day 2, and I was on a roll. Like, I had 2 ladders going. I had a bigger stable ladder that was taller and would, I could lean it on the tree and get right into the tree and even start climbing the tree. And then I had this little aluminum ladder. It was only a 3-stepper. And I would use both. And I was going up with 2 different sets of tools. And occasionally when I'd cut a branch, the branch wouldn't fall. So I'd have to climb up the ladder and pull the branch down. And so I was getting into a pattern or whatever. But this wasn't on like total flat surface and totally level surface. This was like uneven ground. there's holes places and stuff like that. So I'm on a roll, I'm pruning, and I'm pruning this apple tree that was getting suffocated and choked out by some ivy that had been growing for years, way before we ever bought the property. And it was like really thick, old ivy. And so I started communicating with this ivy and like really, oh, like you're really suffocating this tree and you're like doing a hostile takeover. Like if you want to talk business terms, this ivy was in a hostile takeover with this tree. It was suffocating it. And this was like a 40-year-old apple tree. And I knew that it could be way more healthy if the ivy was off of it. So before I even started pruning this tree, I like had a fight with this ivy. I was ripping it off. I was cutting it off. I had to use pruners to get those thick ivy roots off. And it was all the way up to where the crown started to come out on the tree. And so that was a process in itself. And then I started pruning the tree and I was up. I was literally had a ladder inside the tree. And then I was in the tree with the pruners and hanging my tools, 2 different tools from the branches. And I cut this one branch that I had reached to cut for, and it fell, but it didn't fall all the way to the ground. And so I had my other ladder, my aluminum ladder. So I went and grabbed my aluminum ladder, which was already like opened up. So I just took it right underneath that branch that I needed to get. I did not have any tools in my hand. And I climbed up to like the 3rd step. And as I was reaching for that branch, that ladder flew right from underneath me. And as I fell, my left leg, calf, and knee was in excruciating pain. Like I thought I broke my leg. And I think I even hit my head on the tree. I was landing on grass, but it was uneven. And I was like, oh my God. But even though that pain was so painful, I got up, I rubbed my knee, and I just like ignored it. I ignored that it happened. And I got back up on the other ladder and finished pruning that tree. And then I even kept landscaping and like cleaning up other things. I even went out for dinner that night and I had to drive all the way 45 minutes downtown. I had to find a parking spot and then walk 2 blocks to the restaurant. And as I was walking to that restaurant, my knee started blowing up. And I started like dragging my leg. And as I sat while I was eating, I could feel my leg just keep expanding, my knee keep expanding and blowing up. And this is, I had injured this knee twice before. And I knew what was coming. But I still pushed myself through it. And then the next day I couldn't even walk. And I had to pretty much lay down for 2 whole weeks. And so like your business, you can keep going, like just brush yourself off every day and ignore that you're burning out, that you're overwhelmed, that you're over responsible, that you have too much to do, that you're hustling, that you're forcing, that you're pushing. You can just keep brushing it off until until your body decides to throw you off and lay you out. It's kind of like getting knocked out in the match. Because I literally got knocked out. Not in the very moment of the accident. It tried, but I ignored it. And then it was the pain, it was the inability to keep moving forward that totally took me out. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't been on Receptive Radio. It's because this leg injury, this knee injury took me right out. But during that time of that takeout, all my focus was redirected to the healing of my knee. And it opened up space for me to receive clarity about my business and to realize that I had been pushing, I had been forcing. I was burning myself out, wearing out myself. And while I was doing all of that, everything I was doing wasn't working. It wasn't bringing in more clients. It wasn't getting me the results that I was looking for. And during this moment of clarity, I realized, I've been abandoning like one of the super skills that I have in my business, and that is my CPA designation. That is my 20 years worth of experience working with entrepreneurs and seeing your behavior patterns and seeing how you overwhelm yourself and seeing how you're running on empty and you're burnt out, but you're forcing yourself and ignoring it. And then something major happens and throws you right out, but you still like really ignore it. You just push forward anyway. You go to work sick, you drag your leg anyway. But this time I laid down, like I decided to stop. And during that period of stopping, I got so much clarity that now I'm bringing it back to you, that force, pushing, and hustling is even more pressure, and it does not give you clarity. It creates exhaustion. And that exhaustion translates into your business and into the energy that you're radiating out towards your clients. And that exhaustion isn't attractive. So that, energetically is not coming towards you. But what it is also causing you is that you're not able to hear the truth. You're not current with reality. You're not seeing what's really happening in front of you. You're not realizing that there's so much incomplete, messy information that it is, feeding you information that you think you need to keep working harder. But that messy, incomplete information is actually telling you to get it organized, get it complete, get it working for you in every moment of your business so that you can see with clarity, you can hear with clarity, you can know with clarity, and be making grounded present time decisions. And those grounded present time decisions can reactivate your business on a whole new level of awareness and excitement and energy, so that you can navigate circumstances like the economy and client changes or different product information, so you can navigate what's really going on and deal with it. Because avoiding is just creating more instability for you. And it's like falling off the ladder. Like, if you think about it, your business, if it was a nice, stable ladder, you would keep going up every rung and making more money, creating more financial freedom, getting those travel and experiences and, lifestyle desires fulfilled by the funds coming from your business, for the retirement that you're creating, for the experiences you're wanting, not only dreaming about, but just and wanting to take. But what I see so much is that entrepreneurs don't even pay themselves. They don't even make sure that they're taken care of first. Everybody else is. And so that's when you're not current with your business. Because if you were current, you would be able to see that you got to take care of yourself first. And so I have, really got very clear through this injury that forcing, pushing, performing, hustling, brushing off the exhaustion, the burnout is not the path to more success. The path to success is being current with your business, facing what reality is showing you through the numbers, through your behavior patterns, through the patterns of your customers and the results that you're getting. Not the hopes and wishes of what you want, but the actual results. And clarity creates safety. And relief feels good. You want relief from this pressure. The pressure is like low level anxiety of a vibration that is like causing you to keep going and brushing off that exhaustion. But clarity is calm, grounded, forward movement in the present moment. And you don't have to guess anymore because you know where you're at. Past, messy, incomplete information is not valuable, but current, organized, complete information is extremely valuable. And successful leaders are current. They are current. And so that's what I'm setting up to help you with, is to get current, but to feel safe, because there's a lot of hidden shame around feeling this pressure. We don't want to tell anybody. We don't want to ask for help. We want to figure it out ourselves. So that's just added pressure more on top of it. So I don't want you to do that anymore. You don't need to do that anymore. And you don't have to wait for an accident like I did to really get the message that you need to shift. You need to shift. And you don't need to work harder. You're working hard enough. You can't work any harder. You have an amazing work ethic already. There's other ways, but facing the reality of what is going on and being present with the information that is right in front of you. And I'm not telling you to go like get present right now. I'm telling you to just notice if you're overworking, if working harder isn't even working for you. And if you're noticing that right now, and what I'm saying to you is relating to you and resonating, book a Get Current call with me. The link will be in the comments or the description. And through that call, we're gonna get clarity on where you're at and where you're, feeling this hidden pressure, because it's hidden because you're not telling anybody else about it. Maybe you're telling your wife or your kids around the dinner table and they're sick and tired of hearing you complain about it, but you're not telling anybody, and it's hidden because we're trying to hide it, but it's really not hidden because it comes through your energy and it's in the numbers of your business. And so I'd love to see you at that Get Current call. The link will be in the description and the comments. And that's just a call where I can help you see where you're in the past, incomplete or messy, and how you can get current. What's your next step to get current? So thank you for joining me for Receptive Radio. I go live every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please like, follow, and subscribe to this channel and tell your business owner, entrepreneur friends about it. And I'll see you next week.